a long-serving guest of RCNC. My month has not been so bad. I don't know. It's been my birthday month. I had my birthday on Sunday. Yeah, just a crazy month. I was mourning some loved ones who lost last year. Yesterday was the first anniversary. So yeah, that has been my month. Nothing eventful so far. I'm glad to be here. Looking forward to learning more. Thank you.
You're most welcome, Moses. And despite the ups and downs, we hope that things will turn out well, especially with the coming of your birthday this Sunday. And we also look forward to you to becoming a member.
Sunday. This past Sunday was my birthday.
Oh, it was the past Sunday. All right. We also look forward to you to becoming a member, and you're most welcome to our meeting today. I also see Joseph has typed on the chat box. He says, "Hello, everyone. I'm Joseph. I'm a microbiologist by profession, and a Rotaractor from Kisumu. My February began and is still superb. You're most welcome, Joseph, and we look forward to having you more in our meetings. Thank you so much, everyone, for the great introductions. And without further ado, I'll call Samuel Karanja to welcome our guest speaker for today, and we'll be able to learn more. Sam?
Thank you, Supeo. So our topic of discussion this evening is the Rotary Foundation and yourself. Our speaker tonight is Protus Lumiti. He's a great friend. I think I knew him 6-7 years ago. That doesn't mean I've been around for very long, but that's when I met Protus, I think when I was president of JQuat, Rotaract JQuat. He's a Rotarian at the Rotary Club of Karen, where he served as president, I bet in 2013-14 or 2012-13, around that time. Then he served as an assistant governor. Then he served as a district treasurer. I just realized we have quite a number of guests today. So let me repeat that: Rotary Club of Karen. Then Rotary is organized into a district. Our district has 4 countries: Kenya, Ethiopia, and South Sudan. District is led by a district governor. So Protus has served as a district assistant governor in charge of a number of clubs. He then served as district treasurer for I think 2 or 3 years consecutively. And is currently serving in the district Rotary Foundation Committee as the chair of the district stewardship committee. I think he shall explain that role a bit better than I can. Professionally, he is in NGO management. Very, very good work that he does on that side. So ladies and gentlemen, virtually put your hands together for our speaker tonight, Rotarian Protus Lumiti. Protus, over to you.
Protus, you're on mute.
I'm used.
You're still on mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm using 2 gadgets because I have a problem with my laptop. So you will see me moving from one gadget to another. Thank you very much, Sami, our past district Rotary representative. And thank you for a nice welcome by the acting vice chair. Thank you, Rotaractors, who are on call tonight. as you have been told, my name is Protus Lumiti. I have been in Rotary doing service above all and above self. And my role has been basically in leadership throughout. But I love to be out there doing community service as much as possible. So today, our sharing is basically foundation, and I'll just want us to reflect on what is foundation. When you hear of foundation, maybe someone can just say, what do you think about foundation? When you hear foundation, what is that? Anybody? Anybody can say anything about foundation?
Maybe I can say, maybe let me try. I would say,
Yes.
I see a foundation one, like in technical terms, it's the structure within which another structure is built upon. Also, it could be, let's say, in an organization, it's no, I can call it. Let me use the word organization again, but as an organization that serves like the needs of the community, but is not profit oriented. So it serves as a non-profit institution. So I see those two levels when it comes to a foundation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll switch off one gadget, so allow me 2 minutes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good. Thank you very much for that great answer. Foundation, when you talk about foundation, you're talking about charity, you're talking about self-giving, you're talking about service to the world, you're talking about any giving. And that's what we will reflect on this afternoon, this evening for the next maybe 30 minutes. The Rotary Foundation and You. Rotary, as you've been told, is a service-oriented organization. And it has Rotarians, Rotractors, Interactors are young people under 18. Rotractors are over 18 and until over 35. And Rotarians, of course, would be 35 and above. But also for now, we have Rotractors who are actually transiting to Rotarians even before they reach their 35 years. So that category is phasing out. And being a service organization, we don't really make profit. We give. And that's what we are talking about this evening. We gave to the Rotary Foundation, which is a charity arm of Rotary International. Now, this foundation began very simple. It began by one of the Rotarians having done an activity. In fact, it was a Rotary International convention. After he had worked out all the budgets and all the costing, the balance was about $26.50. And he asked the members, what can we do with this $26.50? The members said, let us preserve it, let us keep it. Most of you are a financial analyst. I can hear, I heard from you, your introduction. So they said, let us preserve it, let's reserve it and see how we can use it in the future. And that's how the foundation actually started. From the $26.50, we have a big foundation. And that was 1917. And it has grown over the years. And right now in our district, which is Kenya, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Southern Sudan, we have over 11 billion worth grants that come to our country and our district that we are able to use that money. So allow me to have a PowerPoint presentation just for you and I to go through and see if it's possible, if you can allow me to screen share, if it's possible.
Yes, you can.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So I believe you can see my screen as I continue to talk to you. The first slide that you see is basically a grant that was done during COVID. This was done by our district, where Rotarians' money was raised. After it was raised, we asked the Rotary Foundation, which we are talking about, they gave us more money, and we supplied wash stations to every county of this country. It was one of the biggest that we did during COVID. And right now, as we speak, we have been very much actively participating in the grant as much as possible in terms of implementing projects related to COVID. So that is one of the ways that we have received money from the Rotary Foundation as a charity. And we also received money from well-wishers who have been supporting us throughout the years. Slide number 2. I don't know why I'm not showing my slides. Slide number 2, you will see basically it's showing about what is the mission of the foundation. And I want us to look at the word enables Rotarians and Rotractors to advance world understanding. So the foundation, as much as we give to the foundation, this money actually comes back to us. We give from as small as 2,000 Kenya shillings, 2,500 to 100,000 to 200,000 to a million. This money comes back to us to enable us to advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace through improving health, education, and alleviation of poverty. You can see an example of the grant, the foundation giving money to do water, the foundation giving money to do community health, where it's polio eradication, but right now we're talking about COVID. What are the areas that we get the money from the foundations to support? As I said, a foundation is it's an organization that receives money from well-wishers. Money is given out to others to support the community. One of the areas that Rotary focuses on is water. In our region, we have 41% of the grants that we have. We have 118 grants. 41% deal with water. They install boreholes, they install water tanks, they install drainage water pans in semi-arid areas like Kitui, and water is supplied to the community. And this is one area of focus. And most of the Rotarians write a grant on water. As I said, 41% of the grants is water-based. The second one is basic education, which is literacy and education. And you can see that in our region, about 13% of our grants are on education and literacy. Why? Because in Kenya, we have free education. So not so much money is going into the education sector because we have free education, primary education, and even transiting into free secondary education. So most of the Rotarians have not done so many grants in education and literacy. The third one is disease prevention and treatment. Here you talk about things like HIV, AIDS, cancer. We have again 13% of our grants are towards disease prevention and treatment. Very few people are doing grants in this area. The fourth one is about maternal health and children health. This is young children, mortality under 5 years, where we have babies taking care of their mothers. And we support about 13% of our grants are under this particular section. The other one is peace building and conflict prevention. Rotary International, through the Rotary Foundation, supports peace building. We are able to send students abroad for studies, for masters and certificate. And this is just really very simple, very little, about 0.9% of the grants that we apply go towards Peace Fellows, because very few people apply for this grant. The other one is community economic development. Again, it's about 13% in our district, which we are able to apply for grants and get the grants and support economic development, where we support mothers into and the elderly people for what we call income generating activities. The last one that has never been applied for, I hope the Rotractors will be able to actually apply for a grant to do environment. And this is a new one that came up this year. And we are hoping that Rotractors, Rotary Club of Nairobi Central, and your friends, you'll be able to apply for a grant, do an environment, clean Nairobi River or any other areas, plant trees, or just really do something environmental that will be impactful. How does this work? How does the foundation support the community? In Rotary, we have two ways that we receive funds from the foundation. One of the ways is as much as money is given to the foundation from members, Rotarians, friends, and donors, money goes to the Rotary Foundation pot, which is invested. And it's invested in the sense that that money, part of it goes into endowment fund, which is basically a long-term income generating for the foundation. The other part, which is called the world share, that money comes to us through global grants. And I've told you in our district, we have 118 global grants, and we're able to impact the whole district. Kenya, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Southern Sudan. We have 2 grants in Southern Sudan. We have about 16 grants in Ethiopia, and the rest are Kenyan. Kenyans are doing grants really, really in a big way. And the other one is money that is sent to our district to help our clubs in our district. Simple money like maybe $500, just like $500, $1,000, $2,000, which the district gives to clubs like Rotractors, Rotary, to do small projects, not big. Global grants are big. They are global because you have to partner with an international partner. You have to do more than 33 million Kenya shillings grant. This one here, the district grant, is very simple. You can do actually a 50,000 Kenya shillings project, 100,000, 200,000. And we encourage Rotractors to actually participate in this grant as much as possible. How does that work? The next slide will be telling you that as Rotarians and Rotractors contribute to the foundation, part of your contribution goes to the polio. You can give money directly and say, I want my money to go towards polio eradication. And as you have heard, we have very few polio cases, very few, in fact, 1 out of many years that we have worked on this. It has been eradicated totally, like 100%. So you can contribute your 2,000 Kenya shillings, like $20, and say, my money, I want it to go to the polio direct. When you give your $20, that $20 is matched by and Get Foundation in actually like double. So you give 20, you get 40 to the foundation. When you give money to the foundation, you can say, I want my money to go to annual fund. And the annual fund is a very short-term investment, whereby when you give money this year, in 3 years, that money will come back to us. I've said here 3 years. That money is shared. It is shared in the sense that part of it will come to the district, which will give us district grants. Which I have said you can do a grant of 550,000 Kenya shillings, 100,000 Kenya shillings. It comes to a global grant, okay? And the global grant here, over 3 million, over 4 million, you can do a grant, a very big grant in the district, in your area of work, in the various areas that we have seen before. So again, when you give money here, for example, supposing Samuel has given $1,000, and Rotractors Samuel has given $1,000 here, Kenya shillings, 100,000 Kenya shillings. That 100,000, and he says, I want my money to go to annual fund, which is a share based. Part of this money will go to the district grant, and he may not realize that. And part of his money will come into global grants. So in 3 years, the money he gave here is coming back to us to help our community. He may not have realized that the money you have given has gone to the whole world, not just to Kenya, to the whole world, and you have impacted over millions and millions of people. So your little money of $1,000, 100,000 Kenya shillings, in 3 years it has multiplied and given rise to a district grant and global grant. That money also is given to the World Fund into an endowment. And this endowment means that it's invested. It's invested throughout as part of the organization foundation to actually support Rotary throughout the years. And that's why it's called World Fund. And this World Fund, of course, it's really the funding body that's investing the money of the charity, whereby they don't eat into the endowment as such, they may eat into the surplus of the profit, which it comes back, which is plowed back into this. So you can see when you give your money here, it goes all the way and comes back to us in Kenya, Ethiopia, Southern Sudan, you can go to Colombia, America, Asia, and that makes a big impact. Your $1 makes a big difference. So that's why we're encouraging members to give as little as $20 as much as possible. Again, let's focus on the annual fund, which is my area of discussion this evening. The annual fund that we're talking about is here. So when, as I've said, Samuel gives $1,000. I'm just using Samuel, for example. I'm not saying that he has given $1,000 US. That money has actually traveled. Donation to the annual fund, okay, and it has traveled to the World Fund. It has traveled to the global funds. It comes here into a district grant and a global grant, and you can see how it is distributed. The $1,000 that he has given, or the $20, that money transforms the whole world through really service to the world, and it changes the lives of many people. And you can see that at least it's not just staying into one pot; it's split. Even if it's $20, even if it's $5, it's split over to support the world. In most cases, Rotarians and Retractors will have what we call every Rotarian every year. And every Rotarian every year means that you, as a Retractor, you are giving something to the Rotary Foundation. At least you are not nil. You can give through direct your credit card. You can give through your club. You can give through the district. We try as much as possible to give to the foundation in any way. You can even give $5. It doesn't matter. You can give whatever you can. Just like the way you do Sadaka on a Sunday, on a Sabbath, you give a contribution to the church, you give a contribution to your merry-go-round. You can also give to the Rotary Foundation, and that money is impacting the whole world. It's not being kept for an investment of an organization. No, it's plowed back into the world. This was just an example I took out, that in 2019-2020, 123 million was given to the annual fund, okay? And 1,350 was given to the global grant. Global grants were awarded. You can imagine that this year there are more than 1,350 grants all over the world. More than 30% of the Rotarians supported the annual fund. I'm sure they have not quoted here Retractors, but I believe that they are also in there. So next, you'll find that fundraising for the foundation. How do we get this money to the foundation? I'll give you a scenario whereby I have a Rotarian in our club, Rotary Club of Karen, which is based in Karen, and we have about 90 members. Out of those 90, about 30 of them make a direct contribution to the Rotary Foundation. What they have done is that they have clicked their credit card into automatic giving. So every month, a little money goes to the foundation without them realizing. Of course, they have made a very standing order. That money comes from their pay. That money comes from their projects, their companies. That money is raised. Occasionally we raise. Recently we raised through golf. We raised money through golf. 10% of the outcome of that will go to the foundation. So how can we, as young Retractors, really raise funds? I believe that each one of you will have a way of raising funds. You have heard of Mchanga. You have heard of social media use. Nowadays, you have to get special permission from the sporting, the KRA will follow you if you just don't get clearance. So you can do your fundraising through social media, email, Facebook, Instagram, and Mchanga. And as little as 10,000, 5,000, and you send that money straight away to the foundation. You can get that money and say we are in a club of 20. We shall distribute. Every Rotarian in our club will get about $1 or $2. At least make a minimum $5. So you distribute all of you. You have done that together as a community. You've done together as a group. You have actually given to the foundation as a group. And that has worked out very well in clubs like our club. We raised money and then we said every Rotarian will get about 26.5 $25 to the foundation, and all our club was all giving. You can actually do a timer where you can raise money, like every meeting you meet every week, you raise that money, 100 shillings, keep it. After 1 month, forward to the foundation. You can do a merry-go-round and say, today we are giving Edward, next week we are giving Peter, next week we are giving to Priska, and Priska will forward to the foundation, and under her name it will be a contribution from Priska, but you in a club, you'll know that you're doing that. You can host events. You can have a walkathon, a bikeathon, a marathon that will raise money to give to the foundation. You can hold special events like a bikeathon at Karora Forest. You can actually also, one of you did a very interesting fundraising event. He shaved himself, gave you a talent to shave himself if you contribute such amount. And it worked, and he raised some good. So you can think of any way you can raise money to give to the foundation. And again, you can also have what we call happies. In our club, we have what we call happies. You stand up and say, I'm happy because I was successful this month of February. I worked and got an income that was very interesting. Or I went to see my friends and I was given a gift. Or my birthday was a great day. Instead of giving me a cake, I was given some money which I'm giving to the foundation. So you can raise money in any way, and that money goes to the foundation. You can also have change box or piggy bank, where you can raise money and keep every coins, like change for good. And that money you can forward to the foundation. And when you forward, it doesn't just go free. You are recognized through Paul Harris when it reaches $1,000 US. You are recognized even if it doesn't reach there. You'll have your name will be showing that you have contributed $500 or $600. When it reaches 1,000, you get this special pin which says Paul Harris. When you contribute every year $1,000 US, you join Paul Harris Society, whereby you are a frequent member. This is intimidating for young professionals, where you think, where will I get 100,000 to give to the foundation? We are saying you can start giving per month, slowly by slowly. It's not a big deal. Whatever you contribute counts at the end and makes a contribution to the whole world. So don't fear to contribute whatever you have to the foundation. So, as I said, you are recognized. You are recognized by a Paul Harris pin, which is this one here. You are recognized by the Paul Harris Society, which is this one here. You become a major donor. You are given also a lapel pin that shows you are a major donor. The Arch Club is a person who saved the first initial $26. And from that $26, we have a foundation. A benefactor, you can say, look, I have an estate or I have a piece of land which I want to give to the foundation. I'll give it whenever the time reaches, I'll hand it. So you write like a small will to give to the foundation. You can also you can join a bequest society where you'll say, okay, every year from my company, I get about 100,000, and that 100,000 will be a direct contribution to the Rotary Foundation. So you have to request whatever comes or whatever benefits you get at the end of the year. You are recognized as a club. This was just club recognition. But as Rotractors, your club also, I think it was recognized sometimes back, the Rotary Club of Nairobi Central, and I think you are on the list of those who have actually contributed in the past. So ways to give, as I mentioned, you can do an automatic giving. You can donate online through your credit card. You can give to your club foundation chair. You can participate through the district governor's challenge, whereby the district governor would say, if you give me it's normally $500. I'll give you another $500 to make it 1,000. So you get a 1,000 pin where you are awarded. So that's the DG's challenge. You can grow your impact with a corporate matching. Some of you work in corporates, and some corporates like I worked with, like the World Bank. I did some work with their staff, and what they did was that they challenged me in my organization to raise a certain amount of money, and they were to match. So when I raised, the staff matched. Their international staff matched. So we ended up having 2 million Kenya shillings just from that. Of course, that was not for Rotary, but that was for my company. So I'm just giving an example that you can actually ask your corporate or your company that if you raise a certain amount of money through your own charity work, we shall match that. And that's why we are asking clubs and members that you can actually do that and give to the foundation. Finally, through the recognition, of course, you can see that various clubs were recognized over the years, and you can see you are somewhere here. I think you were Nairobi Central, Rotary Club of Nairobi Central. I think you were actually recognized sometimes back, if I'm not wrong. So these are the people who gave, the clubs that gave. It was a bigger list, but I just extracted our district, which is 9212. Embu, Kisumu, Winam, Langata, Limuru, Malindi, Nairobi Central, Nairobi East, Nairobi Parklands, Naivasha. These are clubs that gave to the foundation in that year, and they were recognized. So again, if you give, you are recognized. Rotary does not just keep quiet. They recognize you as much as possible. So I want to thank you for doing so good in giving the foundation, and I want to invite you as much as possible to try at your level best and encourage your friends to give to the foundation. And that money comes back to us through the two ways I've mentioned, through the global grants and through the district grants. And again, we may not give us to be recognized, but just to give the impact to the whole world. So I'll want to end there, and if there's any questions, we can interact as much as possible. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Protus, our district stewardship chair. And just to echo back what he has said, it's time for Q&A. So you can raise your hand. You can also type in the chat box if you're not in a position to unmute. And the floor is open to questions. Thank you.
Excuse me, someone can check in the chat so that you can actually just write down and lead us through the chat questions.
Yes. Samuel Karanja has raised his hand. Samuel, you can unmute.
Thank you, Protus. Thank you, Sufeo. I am asking on behalf of Steve and his new second name. As president-elect, I'm sure he's very interested to know how a Rotaract club can start getting qualified for grants and applying for grants. So Protus, if you could guide us on that.
Thank you very much. My bigger slide was having several sections, and I had to cut it short. Rotary clubs and Rotary district have to do what we call qualification. Every year, our Rotary year starts from July and ends in June. So every May and June, our district governor-elect has to sit down with the district foundation chair and go through a checklist. One of the checklists is that, do you have any grants that have defaulted? No. Have you submitted your subscriptions, 100%? Yes. So you go through a checklist and you qualify the district. In the same way, a Rotary club will qualify. And we have 7 things that we require from the clubs. We require that the club has paid the dues. All members, of course, would have paid the club, and the club makes a contribution to pay their dues in terms like country dues, district dues, and Rotary International dues. That's number 1. Number 2, the club has to sign an MOU. An MOU is just really a memorandum of understanding to take a commitment that the money we are going to get this year, we shall take care of that money. The reports we are going to give are going to be transparent reports. The grants that we're going to do, we are going to implement grants without conflict of interest. So commitments to say we're going to do well. We're going to keep to the Rotary 4-way test. That memorandum of understanding is signed between the president and the president-elect, and it's submitted. There is also a 25-point financial management, where the treasurer will say, we shall have what we call signatories, 3 or 4. 2 will sign a check. There's no check that will be signed by one person. We shall have several bank accounts per project. We shall actually report transparently. We shall account for every penny that we are going to receive. So it's about 25 points. The treasurer and the president sign that document. Those 2 documents are submitted. And then, of course, the dues are paid. And then also your audit report. If you have done any audit, you report that in previous financial year we were successful, we got this amount of money, and we accounted for it. Now, Rotarians and Rotary clubs submit those documents online, and they are qualified. We are saying the same for Rotaractors. For you to qualify, you pay your dues. You need to show us that you have paid your dues. You need to show us that you can comply to financial management in your club. You need to show us that you will actually oblige to the MOU, which we have as Rotarians. And those 3 documents are very necessary for us. And once you sign those documents, our qualification officer will receive your documents online, You can just send an email to request Peter Mbui and myself and Sailepu. Once we receive that email, we'll give you the link. You will qualify your club. And once we qualify your club, then you are eligible to do grants. So it's as simple. We shall simplify it for you. And feel free to write us an email directly so that you can get the link to go on the portal to qualify your club, and tell other attractors they are eligible to qualify their clubs so that they're able to do grants. So it's possible. I hope, Sami, I've answered your question.
Yeah. Yeah. Sam, I see you've reacted with a thumbs up. Maybe if you can unmute, if we want to hear your voice again. Looks like he's not in a position to unmute.
No, I got it.
Fantastic. Awesome. You can go back to cooking. You know you're in the kitchen. Back to the chat, I see Priska has a question for Protus, and she says that, thank you for the presentation, Rotarian Protus. How do we encourage other members of a club to donate, especially if only certain members do contribute to TRF?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Contribution to the Rotary Foundation is voluntary. Just like we are born, in our families, we are born under particular church organizations. We wake up one day, we realize our parents are making a contribution through what we call a tithe or sadaga on Sunday. And we grew up and went to start work, and we believed that giving a tithe to the church or to affiliation of your religion is a contribution to God's work in the world. Rotary commitment through service above self is a noble activity, and the Rotary Foundation encourages giving. And once you understand the foundation, you will not hesitate to give. As much as people fear because it's too much, like $1,000 is a lot of money. But I'll tell you, even myself, I started giving very little. In fact, I'm embarrassed to say I only give $10 per month. So for me, that's easier. I found that easier. So I made that automatic. I just went to have a credit card, which I say, this is basically for the foundation. So $10 per month. And when when I get enough money or more, I give more. Towards the end of the year, I'll contribute so that I get my Paul Harris. But sorry to be embarrassing, but $10 per month makes a big difference. So I receive an acknowledgement every month from Rotary Foundation saying, thank you for your contribution. So how can we encourage clubs? Just the awareness like today. And once one is convinced that you can actually give as little as 2,000 or 1,000 and even $5, that's a great contribution. And not only just Rotary Foundation, I subscribe to Clinton Foundation because I have benefited from the foundation in the past. They made a contribution to our organization. And one of the things they told us is, look, this money is given to you, but we get from people. So one time I gave them $25, and they keep on writing to me every year. So I'm not bragging, but I'm just saying that when you are moved with the work that people do, then you make that contribution. And it's just important to bring awareness that the money given to the foundation comes back to us in big way, in even triple way, to raise a foundation. Like, for example, right now, our club, Rotary Club of Karen, has gone to a school called Karen C Primary School, where there was no water. They were buying water, yet there was a borehole. So in the past 6 months, they have installed 2 water tanks, and now the children are enjoying free water. Last year, they went to Karen Technical School for the Deaf, and they found the principal was buying water 10,000 shillings per week. And they said, no, you won't be buying water. So we partnered with Davis and Shutcliffe and wrote a global grant for $6 million. And now the School of the Deaf is having free water. They're not buying, they're not spending the 10,000. That money came right from our contribution. We contribute less, but we get more. Our club contributes maybe $10,000 per year, but we have gotten over $60,000. So encourage the clubs through awareness. I encourage them by giving an example of not big money, but just simple money, like what I'm telling you, $10, $20, $30. There are people who give $100. There are people who are giving millions of shillings. And we're encouraging just really give what you can, just like the way you contribute to the Chama, the way you contribute to the church, the way you contribute in your small way. the way you have merry-go-round projects that you have in the community, where you say, let's do Mchango and do a project. Feel free to do Mchango to send to the foundation.
Thank you so much, Protus. I believe Priska has been answered. There's no other question in the chat box. Perhaps if there's someone who wants to unmute and share verbally. Going once, going twice. All right, thank you. That brings us to the end of our presentation, from our guests. And at this point, I welcome Steve Priska to do the vote of thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. VP. For that, my name is still Steve Minor. I'm not sure whether this other new name is coming up from, but at this point, I would like to express my personal gratitude, and also on behalf of the entire family of Rotary Club of Nairobi Central, to our guest speaker, our Rotarian Protus Lumiti, for taking his time first this evening to take us through the benefits, and also a deep understanding and a reflection about TRF, the Rotary Foundation. Rotarian, I think we've really enjoyed the presentation. I think somebody else said the same on the chat box, that your slides were quite captivating, and the photos that you took time to gather and compile have really, put the message across. And I think one thing that really stood out for me, and I think I speak on behalf of the other members on the call, is that consistency in giving to TRF is the key, but the trick is in the small donations that we do. You've shared with us about your $10 a month, and to somebody that might be very little, but in the end, the bigger picture is about $10 every month for about a year or 2 years could really make an impact. So I think that has really hit home, and we thank you for that. And also the issue about the piggy bank, I think that was quite interesting, that you could also save money through the piggy bank and donate it towards the foundation. So I think my take home would be that something you said around that we should not give to be recognized by anybody. We should give towards the Rotary Foundation to amplify the impact. So that point, I think that is the biggest thing that have really touched my heart. And I think as I speak on behalf of most of our members on the call, we feel the impact, and we will be able to work towards giving more towards the foundation, and also in a consistent manner. So with that, Rotarian Protus Lumiti, we thank you. And on behalf of the Rotary Club of Nairobi Central, tunakushukuru sana. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Steve and Protus, who has been our guest speaker for today. We move on to our next session. And so this is our announcement section. And I welcome our visiting Rotaractors, Rotarians. If you have any announcement, feel free to share with us. Yeah, you can raise your hand and I'll be able to call your name. Anyone with an announcement?